How's it going, guys? This is BrainDead for another BrainDead TV Saturday. I just want to welcome you guys to this new episode, my weekly vlog that I put up on Saturdays. If you don't know about it, hopefully you do now. All right, so today's topic, I wanted to talk about Pokemon because Pokemon is has been a very big influence on me. My video where I talk about the games that made me a gamer, I didn't really talk about Pokemon, even though it did influence me a lot because Pokemon is actually a very, very strategic game. A lot of people, get older and they're like, "Yeah, screw Pokemon. That's for kids. And little ice cream monster and all that stuff like that." But in reality, it's really strategic, and it really, in my opinion, goes up there with like Command and Conquer games and stuff like that. So today, I just want to talk about my top six Pokemon. Why top six? Because that's the limit you have in the game. These are the Pokemons that I would have on me as my arsenal on the way to the Elite Four. Alright, so starting off the list, we're going to go with some Pokemon X and Y. Greninja. Greninja? Green Ninja? Not sure how to pronounce it fully, but it's the fully evolved version of the water Pokemon starter for Pokemon X and Y. The reason why I like it is because normally in game, I tend to look for the in-game result. Like, okay, so Charmander in Pokemon Blue and Red uh, was fairly weak. You couldn't beat Brock, you couldn't beat Misty, you could barely beat, well, uh, I think by the time you get to the Electric Gym, you're probably at Charmeleon, which I think he could probably take down Raichu. Charmander was one of those things that you got for the in-game results, like Charizard. You got Charizard, you got Steel Claw or whatever, Steel Tail. I forget what the attack is, but it pretty much was able to take down a lot of different types in the game, and so that's why I kind of chose Greninja as for the in-game results. Greninja, number six. Number five, it goes out to Marowak. I had a hard time deciding if I wanted to do Cubone or Marowak. I love the story of Cubone, how it wears the skull of its mother, its dead mother. Growing up, I was really into dark stuff, and I still am. Death is okay with me. I've dealt with death, a lot throughout my life. Throughout my life, yes, I said that. So, Cubone was something that I was like, oh wow, that is really cool. And then Marowak, its evolved form is fairly it's a nice Pokemon. It's not the strongest Pokemon in the world, but it's something that I have in my arsenal as kind of a way of like, you know, this is my Pokemon that is probably at the end of the bottom of my list. I know Greninja is number six, but when I say bottom of my list is Marowak is the one that I go to last. If all my other Pokemon have fainted throughout the Marowak, and by that time I should be able to just do bash, or what is that move called, the bone club, or bone boomerang, whatever. And I think that usually does the job pretty well. you know Marowak and Cubone have both been around since blue, green, and red. But I think the Pokedex entry for Pokemon X pretty sums up how dark and badass it can be. The entry is it is small and was originally very weak. Its temperament turned ferocious when it began using bones. And that's just kind of like, ooh, that's kind of creepy looking. Alright, so number four goes out to Scyther! Yeah, I did. That was horrible. But Scyther. The reason why I chose Scyther is because I used to watch the Pokemon anime show, and I love the Scyther story where he's part of a village that's turned into two groups of people, which pretty much is the Bloods and the Crips. But in the anime, which is meant for kids, they're just kind of like two families, but still they're the Bloods and the Crips. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And Scyther is the only one that can really bring the two houses together. And it really, Scyther as a Pokemon isn't bad at all. It's actually a very good Pokemon in my opinion. But the fact that it has swords as freaking arms, that's what sold me on them. The Pokedex entry for Scyther in Pokemon X is it tears and shreds prey with its wickedly sharp scythes. It very rarely spreads its wings to fly, which is kind of weird because I've seen it fly in the Pokemon anime. Yeah, I'm not sure how accurate that is. Number three should be no real surprise. Charizard. I've already said that I really like Charizard, and that's the starter that I always choose because of the end game value of it. The max stat for its special attack is very, badass. It's fairly good to use Charizard in a fight, especially when you're going up against the Elite Four. As long as you have, a good team behind it, it's very good. It's a very nice Pokemon to have. I've always liked the Charmander origin because Charmander uh, is pretty much a flaming salamander because of a misleading note in a text. I forgot who wrote the text, but it said that salamanders cannot be hurt through fire, which spawned in the Japanese culture. Okay, salamanders equal fire, so Charmander, which is char means to burn, and mander comes from salamander. Number two on this list would have to go to Alakazam. Alakazam to me, once again, kind of like with Scyther, I watched the anime and the psychic gym leader, I forgot what her name is. Leave a comment down below if you remember her name. She used Kadabra, and Kadabra fucking annihilated everything Ash had, and then Ash had to, go find a ghost Pokemon just to beat. For some reason, I wanted to say her name was Sarah, but I don't think that's right. Leave a comment down below of what the Psychic Gym Leader's name was. Alakazam just kind of, in my mind, was like, oh my god, this is a badass Pokemon. It can take out, an entire freaking team. Even though Ash's team is pretty basic, and I don't think he had Charizard yet in that timeline, so the entry for a Y, which is its brain can outperform a supercomputer. Its IQ is said to be around 5,000. That to me is a little bit less simple and actually shows just how badass Alakazam is. Okay, so for number one Pokemon on my list is Gengar. Gengar. Kind of like Alakazam, the Psychic Gym Leader could only be beat by Ghost Pokemon. So Alakazam and Gengar have really been hand in hand to me my entire life throughout Pokemon. Gengar to me was always like, oh, he's the freaking kingpin of the Ghost Pokemon. Of course, this was back, the early days of Pokemon, and so, back then I thought, oh wow, Gengar is the fucking boss of the Ghost Pokemon. And that's why Gengar is my number one, which I always try to get. I always do everything I can to get a Haunter, to trade it into a Gengar. So that's been my list of the top 6 Pokemon that I have in my arsenal at any given point in time. There's my list. Leave a comment down below telling me, what's the gym leader's name, the psychic gym leader from Pokemon Blue, Red, and Green. Like that's really bugging me. Also, if this gets let's say like 50 likes or so, or a lot of comments telling me to go through with it, I'm thinking about actually doing like a video every now and then about Pokemon. And because like I said, Pokemon actually did influence me a lot because it is a strategy game, and I love strategy games. I love the thought process that goes into strategy games. I love the outcome. I love the lore of Pokemon actually. All right, so hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, comments, and definitely don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I put a new video out every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a BrainDead TV vlog on every Saturday. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.